And here to guide us through Prototype 2 is the game's producer, Jonathan Lim. Welcome so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. I'm really excited.
I am excited to check this out. Okay, so we have a new character.
We do.
Okay.
Prototype 2 is with Sergeant James Heller. He's stationed abroad during the first outbreak of the virus in Prototype 1, returns to New York City, his hometown, and finds it absolutely devastated.
Finds that all hell has broken loose.
Oh, yes. It's not pretty.
Yeah. And his family isn't doing so well either.
No, as a matter of fact, what happens is he loses his family in the outbreak, and he's really distraught, and he has only one person to blame for that, and that's Alex Mercer.
So we are at some point going to see Alex in this game, too.
He does make a return. We left an open thread in Prototype 1 that we want to close out in Prototype 2.
Okay, so we have this open world New York City. How do you travel around it and interact in it?
Well, New York City is actually completely different this time around. We call it New York Zero now. We took a lot of feedback from the first game, and we built a brand new rendering engine. It looks way better than anything we had in Prototype 1, and the team's working really hard to get it as far as we can. And it's also now split up into 3 zones. We've got the green zone, which is a militarized zone that's on lockdown. We've got the yellow zone, which is a kind of quarantine area, and the red zone, which is Manhattan, but it's completely different. It's all torn apart. And
so we just saw a little bit of an explosion there. What was that we just saw?
That's one of our new abilities. It's called the biobomb. What Heller does is he temporarily infects one of his targets, walks away while nobody notices, and lo and behold, he blows up right in front of your very eyes.
He sure does. Now there's also an ability for hunting your targets.
That's right. The hunting ability is a tool that lets Heller drive his path through the story. What he does is send out a ping, sort of like sonar, sends it out into the world, sees it bounce off his target, reflects back, and that allows him to pinpoint where the target is in the world.
Now, you can also really get around the city in sort of interesting ways. I mean, because that's the problem with the open world game is travel. So how are you traveling around?
Well, one of the things that we kept from Prototype 1 is just the crazy, insane, over-the-top locomotion that we had that people just love. There's something really exhilarating about running through, flying, gliding through the world, landing on rooftops. It's quite like no other.
And right now I can see that I'm just entering somebody's memory, so is that sort of your, a really good storytelling tool?
Yeah, the web of intrigue from Prototype 1 is kept in Prototype 2, and what it does is it allows us to tell pieces of the story that support the main story. So you get to find out little facts about the world, about what's going on with Blackwatch and what's going on with Gentek, and really pieces it all together.
And so what are some of his sort of new powers?
Well, we've got a lot of the powers that we had from the first game that people love, things like the claws and the blade. But what we have now that we're showing you is going to be the tendrils power. And the tendrils power, I got to let it speak for itself. It's really crazy. What it does is it strings cars and people up and tears things apart. As you see in just a second here, it's pretty exciting. We've got something called the black hole move, which hits the target and then just implodes around it with all sorts of debris that's around that target.
So we sort of stop in midair. Now we're pulling all the items around the tank into it.
Yep, and
it explodes.
There it goes.
That's one way to do it, I guess.
Yeah. The great thing about the tendrils is it plays out different every single time. Once the physics take over.
This is not a pre-rendered animation.
No, not at all.
Right. And it looks like we just ripped the turret off of the top of the tank.
That's right. That's a new ability we've introduced called weaponization. What it allows you to do is rip off vehicle-mounted weapons, such as the toll launcher that we had in the APC there, and use it for your own.
And so then you're also using your tendril power to sort of work individually on people.
Like I said, yeah, once the physics take over, it's pretty crazy. You get cars stringing up, people ripped in half. It really changes the battle landscape, which is really interesting.
He really has a beautiful outlet for his anger.
Well, that's the one thing that was great about Prototype 1. It was the game you played when you're really angry and you just wanted to let off some steam, because you can do stuff like that.
All right, well, I can't wait to check it out. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you very much.
All right, that was some explosive stuff. I need to catch my breath, but let's keep the show rolling.